Thank you, Brandon. Thank you so much, and welcome everyone. It's fantastic to be here this morning. I've been so excited about this for the last week or two, and on my way in this morning, I was thinking to myself, what is the biggest gift I can give to all of you today? And I've really been racking my brain to give you as much as I can in a very short 1 hour period. So thank you. My name is Stephen van Basten. I'm going to share some of my insights with you on really how to future-proof your marriage or your relationship. I'm very honored. I know that we're all busy, and I'm very pleased that you took some time out of your day to be here with me. In return, I'm going to do the best I can to give you as much as I can in the next 50 minutes or so. So by the end of today, you should have a general feel on human behavior in relationships, the 3 biggest issues in marriage and life and how to avoid them. I'm going to speak about the 5 love languages, the languages of apologies, the phenomena of falling in love, and a whole bunch more. So I hope that sounds good to all of you. And then before we begin, I'd really love to just share a bit of my story with you. I met my wife Jackie about 27 years ago. We've been married for almost 22 years now. My youngster is 19. She's in America at the moment. Absolutely beautiful kid. She passed matric with good grades. She got her Protea colours for karate last year, and she broke our hearts about 5 months ago when she left for America. The good news is in about a month from now we're going to meet her in Ireland and just make sure she comes back home with us, force her onto the aeroplane and get her back home. I've been performing weddings for about 20 years. I'm a Universalist minister, but I wouldn't read too much into that. I really consider myself a professional speaker and a trainer. The reason I'm here with you today is that, as a little boy, all I longed for was a really beautiful, meaningful relationship. I can remember when I used to ask my friends, like I was in standard 8, and I asked my friends in matric, have you got a girlfriend? And they'd say yes, and I'd say, do you love her? And they'd say yes, and I'd say, and does she love you back? And they'd say yes, of course. And I'd go, wow, that was just so awesome to me. And the problem was I looked around and even at my parents' relationship and noticed how quickly relationships faded and actually went sour. How quickly they moved from love to hate. And a lot of the examples in my life were not really good examples. I've always been interested in the ones who made it. What's that secret ingredient? What do they do differently? And I've researched relationships since I can ever remember. So after a couple of false starts myself, I met my current wife, Jackie, and I can tell you with hand on heart that I love her more today than the day I married her 22 years ago. Our love it's purer now, it's more fulfilling, and I certainly pray that it will last forever. You see, the truth is we've moved out of what I call a chemical reaction period into a true love period, which is more around friendship. So my journey's taken me from really gut-wrenching heartache to moments of absolute bliss. I've counseled couples with all sorts of issues, and that journey has allowed me not only to learn, but to apply what I've learned. And today I'd love to share some of those insights with all of you. The next thing I did want to ask all of you was, if it's possible, to just write in the question box what your marital status is. Are you married? Are you engaged? Are you in a relationship? Are you single? Maybe you want to write it's complicated, because I know there are a whole bunch of those out there, and I'm not going to ask you to be overly honest and write, because I know there are probably some of you that are married and acting single. The first concept I want to bring in, this is my favorite symbol relating to marriage, and that's the yin-yang symbol. It's not about spirituality or religion for me, but this shows completeness. If you're in a relationship, you're like a yin-yang. One of you is white, one of you is black, and of course I'm not speaking about skin color or negative or positive, but just two very different people that come together. The beauty of this is, the white dot and the black dot, in my opinion, are where you are alike. And that's what anchors you. You see, we think we're marrying somebody that is like us, but the real truth is we are actually very, very different. The beauty of this yin-yang symbol to me is that it shows how a partner actually completes us. And it's not completing from two incompletes. It's not two half circles coming together to be complete. That's not the idea of a relationship. But it's two complete, people coming together and enhancing each other. But the biggest gift I will ever be able to give you around marriage and about relationships in general is that you are different. And I'm going to keep coming back to that. My good friend Dr. John De Martini has a beautiful saying that the magnificence of who your partner really is way better than any fantasy you may have of how they should be. So when I work with couples getting married, the first gift I give them is to say to them, firstly accept yourself for who you are, and then accept your partner for who they are, and then please don't try to change each other. Whenever I work with couples in distress, it's always because one person wants the other person to be more like them, or wants them to be different. And this is generally the cause of a whole bunch of issues. So one of the things I would give you right up front is just to accept yourself for who you are, accept your partner for who they are, and then really don't try and change each other. Just to me, marriage is about taking someone you love with you on this incredible journey called life, and pooling all of your resources to create a more fulfilling existence. It's really about having a best friend to go through life with. I always say that to have a fulfilling, long-lasting relationship, we really need to navigate some stages. And to me, the first stage is the courtship phase. And to be honest with you, I subtitle this the marketing phase, or sometimes even the lying phase. And that's because in this phase, we're basically showing each other how wonderful we can be when we're trying our very, very best 100% of the time. Unfortunately, that phase does end, and we move into the kind of engaged, living together, and honeymoon stage, which is also, it's still nice and congruent, but we're starting to get to see each other's flaws, the good and the bad at that stage. We then get into what I call the getting to know you properly stage. And this is the really problematic one. And this is where most relationships fail. It's when you start to see your partner for who they really are, warts and all, and have the decision whether you stay or you go. After that, once you get through that, you get into what I call the true love stage, or the friendship stage. And this is when you fall out of infatuation, out of fantasy, and into reality. See each other for who you really are, and just accept each other for who you are. I call this the friendship stage because I truly believe that marriage is more of friendship